in actual fact, actually not all 10% goes to the company. Out of the whole 10%, actually only maybe 5 to 5.5% goes to the company. The rest actually goes to your manager. Like your direct manager will get 2% straight upfront. So don't feel shy, new RES. Feel free to call your manager for any questions. Hi everyone, welcome to Take Away with Everyday Day podcast, where we share insights on real estate industry. So I'm Jackie.
I'm Benny.
I'm Jason.
I'm Chantel.
Okay, so but before we start, I've been reading up on our statistic in our channel. So actually we have a lot of viewers, but they only watch and didn't subscribe.
What's happening?
So if you like our content and you find that it's interesting, please subscribe to our channel. Tolong.
Help us see our KPIs.
Yeah, this is part of our KPI. And it will be a great moral boost for all of us.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so let's continue. So today we will start on the topic on life of an agent, where we focus on the fresh RES and also discuss on the top 4 topics that you must know before you join the industry. And based on our last poll on Instagram, the top 4 topics will be on mentorship, the new agent income, the company division support, and also the prospecting. So let's go.
Yes, that's right. So I will take on the first portion, which is mentorship. So something that a lot of new RES would like to know, right, is more about mentorship. Like, because real estate is a dynamic industry where you can define your own style of how you like to conduct your business. So this means that, there is flexibility in how you can do things, but this can also be a problem, right, if you are clueless how to start or what to do. And hence, one of the issues that many agents actually face is a lack of progress, right, because there's a lack of mentorship.
Actually this I totally agree because actually this flexibility is a blessing and also a curse at the same time.
Yes,
Too much flexibility.
Exactly. So for me, I feel that firstly we need to have like a right approach towards mentorship. So to me, mentorship, right, is not just restricted to like one person. I think it's good to have mentor for different areas. So like for a start, I think it will be good to work with someone who understands your strength and weakness, and then this person, right, can ideally point you to the right business direction that is most suited for you. And next, right, it will be good to have mentors in different area of expertise that you like to grow in. So this is because, right, different people they have different strength, and it's beneficial to learn from people who are strong in their field.
That's right.
So I think besides identifying just like one mentor, right, that is good for you, I think it's also important to look out for teams that is good with a sharing culture. Like they have something that is like really, really strong, right, and people actually do share with each other quite openly. So this is important so that you can reach out, right, to more experienced agents where you can receive guidance, right, in the different areas that you can grow in.
So actually that's very true. So because when I first started, I also rely a lot on my upline, because actually like he also accompanied me to my appointments. But at the same time, when it's not available, right, I also rely on other teammates within the team.
Yes, exactly. Like for me, I also feel that in my line of work, right, that besides having like my mentor who do business planning with me, right, when I need to explore like the landed area, right, I was very fortunate to meet like our colleagues who are very good at landed, right, who really guided me in like doing landed and all, and like the different areas as well. So I think in summary, right, mentorship should not be just restricted to just you and your manager, but it will be good, right, to be in a place where you can have access to different mentors for holistic growth.
Nice.
That's it.
Okay, so next I will cover the topic on the potential income. So when we talk about the potential income of RES, we often say that if you are self-employed, the sky is the limit for the income you can make. Agents, we have seen agents making $0 for months, agents making maybe 4 figures, similar to their last drawn salary as a maybe full-time working employee, despite putting in the same amount of work or even more time and effort. There are also agents making comfortable 5-figure sums per month and even 6 figures each month. So with that, it kind of explains why this industry's turnover rate is extremely high as well. So question commonly asked is, how much savings does one need before you enter this industry? So for me, typically I would say a bare minimum is at least a 6 to 9 months of disposable savings for you to start off with.
And talk about savings, I think it's not just about the savings for your career or your work. It's savings of everything. It could be your mortgage, your car installment, your insurance, your
Family
allowances,
expenses
So it's
and all.
really everything, and everything has to be, as what Benny mentioned, about 6 to 9 months.
Yes, and especially true for new RES to take note, the marketing costs these days are higher than expected.
Yep.
What we are experiencing today is very different from many
千难
years ago.
赚啊，现在。
Right. So the difference is pretty huge. So we also we also need to keep in mind the cash flow when it comes to income.
Correct.
So below, like what I'm going to mention below right now are typical transactions most agents handle, and the time between when we conclude a transaction to when we receive the commission.
Okay.
So for example, a rental transaction, it takes about 1 to 2 weeks time before we receive our commission after signing the tenancy agreement. For HDB transaction, it's usually on completion day, which is around 3 months from the day we conclude the sale.
Yep.
And for private residential transaction, similarly, is on completion day, around 3 months from the day the option to purchase is exercised.
But after receive the check, we still need to wait 1 or 2
Yeah,
weeks.
another 1 2 weeks, few days
before
for
the
bank to
check
clear,
being
for the
banked.
company to clear as well. Yeah, so for new launch projects, 6 to 9 months, I would say. Sometimes it may even stretch up to a year to receive your commission.
I have some project actually they took like almost a year before they
Wow.
receive the commission.
That's a very long wait.
Yeah.
So for brand new RES, you also have to take note that for most of the agencies you potentially join, there will be a company cut of around 20% from the commission you first receive, then slowly reducing to 10% as you start to clock in more sales.
Yeah.
So of course, I sometimes get asked, why should I be giving part of my commission, hard-earned commission, back to the agency? What do you guys think?
Okay, so I think as an agent actually it's quite interesting because we don't really hold any inventory. We don't really have any fixed overheads. We need to say actually we don't have to pay any rental, so to speak. So I feel that 10% actually goes to the company is still quite reasonable. But in actual fact, actually not all 10% goes to the company. Out of the whole 10%, actually only maybe 5 to 5.5% goes to the company. The rest actually goes to your manager. Like your direct manager will get 2% straight upfront. So don't feel shy, new RES. Feel free to call your manager for any questions.
So this company cut actually goes back to funding the resources the company actually provide you, such as office supplies, trainings you get on real estate matters, marketing materials, in-house software systems, and the mobile apps that we actually use these days very often to assist our daily work routine.
And not only that, there's so many other things like your licensing, your invoicing,
Yes,
correct.
that's
legal
right.
support.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this money's paid them is actually for people to back you up. Because,
Yes, correct.
So it's actually very well spent.
That's correct.
Worth it. Okay, so next I will talk on the agency or the division that you are in. Okay, so first of all, actually for agency, not all are the same. There are some boutique agency that are like they focus on certain market segment only. For example, if they focus on, I know someone, they only focus on landed, right? The whole agency focus on landed. Almost 90% of the agents, they focus on landed only. So you can be the field of expert in that area, in that location, that market segment. But this is very niche and it's only that one thing you specialize in. Versus, let's say if you are in a bigger agency, you'll receive more support from the company. More broad-based in terms of learning, training, app support also, and also new launch opportunities. That means project opportunities. Okay, why so? Because the bigger agency, right, will have more people to test on the app, more resources to run to build the in-house app as well. And for project-wise, also the same, because actually end of the day, it's a numbers game. Developer usually, they will award it to the bigger agency.
Yeah, that's very true because typically major developers will appoint the bigger agencies to take on the official marketing of their new launch projects.
Yeah, not all agencies, the big ones.
Yeah, the big ones. So
The
that
big fours.
Yes, correct.
Big for hope. Okay, but we must explain what is hope.
Okay, I'll do it. So hope is H is for Huttons, O is for Orange Tea, P is for Pornex, and E is for ERA.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So
Okay, next.
Okay, yes, it's me, sorry.
Yeah.
So the most important thing, right, at the end of the day is actually prospecting because that's
Yeah,
where you
that's
want to
right.
get your leads in. So I'm going to share quickly on how this prospecting slash networking or referrals work. As a new agent, right, how it works is that you need to spend about 70% on prospecting, 30% on referrals. So referrals can come from your friends, relatives, people you know. But when you advance in real estate, right, when you get more senior, it will be the 30-70 rule, which means 30% you still have to do prospecting. If not, you probably won't get all so much leads from referrals.
Yep.
So this is something for new agents to take note of. So what can we do for networking? What you can do is to probably just share around with your friends. Go to social media, Facebook, Instagram, tell people that you are a real estate agent now, whether do they need any real estate needs, be it themselves or people around them. And as for your managers, right, I would say most leaders will offer their agents to advertise the leaders listing so that they can actually go online to actually get some leads.
Yeah.
Some leaders even offer like a 50-50 cost profit sharing. Like you get the leads, if we close, we share. Some leaders are also very generous to actually give leads to these agents. So of course, I don't want to say it works for everyone. It's a case-to-case basis. So you need to check with your current leader. So, okay, so let's say you don't have any support and you need to be on your own to do prospecting. So the following ways are your options. Okay, but do note, getting leads is not just getting like a certain segment like buyers or sellers. It works for all. You can get sellers, buyers, landlords, or even tenants. The whole idea is to get the ball rolling with leads and get your business and monies in. So the first thing we can do is actually to get leads from FSBO and FRBO. Of course, most people will not know what is that. FSBO means for sale by owner. FRBO is for rent by owner. So it's owners actually advertising on public mediums to actually get to ask help from agents. So what you can do is to get these leads, get these listings and advertise online, and you never know who will be calling you to get some leads rolling from there. The other thing is you can do is what we agents always call doing TOP projects. So what does TOP means? It's called temporary occupation period, which is where owners of a certain condos collect keys. So this was how I started back then, where I was very hungry. I had a lot of time and effort, but I got no savings, so not much capital. So doing TOP projects is very easy. All you need to do is to appear on site every day, physically, spending your time there to actually meet new owners, asking them if they want to sell or rent their place, and actually get leads from there. The next thing you can do, which is also effort and time based, is actually door knocking. So of course you can't door knock condominiums because of security guards and stuff. So what you can do is to go to HDB estates or even landed houses to door knock on them. And you'll be surprised, they are actually very friendly. Of course, there are also unfriendly people, but there are also friendly people. That
generally, they are still quite unfriendly.
So you'll be surprised, you had a small chat with them, ask them whether they have any real estate needs, and you'll probably get some leads from there. The other way for effort and time base is actually hyping. So what does hyping mean? If you all go around like shopping malls or markets, you see these agents carrying their banners. So these agents are actually doing hyping to get leads from people walking around them.
So I'm sure now East Coast has a lot.
A lot. Because there's so many new projects.
Yeah, especially on the new projects,
And of course, there are also another kind of prospecting for people with deep pockets. So let's say, for example, you are rich, but you need a job in real estate. Or maybe you're busy, like you have family, kids, so you don't have much time, much effort, but you have money. So what you can do is actually spend on online marketing. So be it PPC, which is pay-per-click through websites, or social media through Facebook, Instagram, or the trend these days is doing educational videos, like what we're doing now, videos these days. So these are just the various prospecting methods.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Okay, so next we'll share on the one advice from each of us. So I'll start off with me first. Okay, so for me, for the one advice to the new agents, right, actually is to be patient about your success. Okay, why so? Is because actually we only see the producer getting awards on in the social media, okay, on stage, but we never know what kind of hard work they went through, okay, behind the scenes. So I'm quite sure other producers will agree with me as well that they also put in a lot of effort, and then there are also a lot of failures behind the scene. Just that they didn't share this on social media, So at the same time, so don't give up easily. Okay, speak to your manager and see if there's any other solutions. Okay, push on.
Yeah. So for me, I think like as a new agent in the industry, it is easy to feel a little lost and sometimes overwhelmed. Yeah, and I think perhaps, right, you can see your real estate business, right, like a fishing business. So like, do you want to be a fisherman, right, who just go out to the open sea with uncertainty and wait for something to happen, or you want to own a fish farm and where you can plan your business and like refine your way of doing things. Yeah. So like my advice, right, is to have clarity and a good framework. Work with the right people and you will not be lost.
Very good. I like the point by Chantel. So for me, I think it's always good you set your own right expectations and align your objectives properly. Don't try not to overset expectations right from the start, like what Jackie mentioned. Progressively get used to what you're good at and get better at it. Know your means and wants in order to seek the most comfortable path you wish to achieve in this career.
Okay, for me, my advice is that it's all about expectations. I think what social media these days are painting real estate agents like doing very well, getting a lot of awards.
Platinum every month.
Yeah, like getting a lot of achievements, but it's really not so easy.
Behind
at
the
end of
scenes.
day. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that y'all don't really see. We work 7 days a week, almost like up to late hours.
Yes.
We have to eat late. I think we haven't eat lunch. We're gonna have lunch later on. So it's like things like this. It's not really as easy as most people think. So setting your expectations right is very important. And the next thing I always believe in is really hustling hard. So you really got to work hard. It's not just working normal hours. You just really got to work hard to put in the hours, the time and effort. Then you really be able to see results.
Yeah, I totally agree with Jason. Okay, so in summary, agent life isn't a bed of roses. And we really need to hustle hard for your own business. And trust me, actually, I think all of us will agree that only the sky is the limit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Indeed.
Actually, through this agent life, I mean, we have achieved so much more for not just for ourselves, but also for our families.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you like this podcast and you find that it's interesting, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.